with this LSU defensive line that's from what I've seen on film. It's pretty dominant,
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. You know, they got big, strong guys inside. They got a number 46 can come off the edge and rush the passer really well. You know, anytime you face an LSU team, they're great athletes. They've been well coached and they're ready to get after you.
I saw a lot of posts on social media about a lot of football players helping out with some of the relief efforts. What's that say about some of the student athletes that are here at Carolina?
Well, I think you know, everybody in the athletic department has jumped in and kind of come out and support the community. I mean, it's a hard ordeal that we're all going through, but to see those guys get out there this morning, delivering some water, helping out, it's, you know, makes you proud to be a part of this program.
How are you? I mean, Coach Spurrier said you had to evacuate.
I'm fine. Yeah, you know, it was a precautionary thing that they made us leave, but yeah, we're back in, and you know, it's kind of just a wait and see situation right now. Appreciate it though.
Shawn, the inside zone, from a technical standpoint, is
Yes,
there
sir.
something that has to happen? Like, we got to get that done so that this play has a chance to be successful, or is it a
Yes.
combination of things? What's going on technically?
Well, I
with
mean,
that play?
technically, it's just like whether it's a power play or an inside zone play, based on techniques, you've got to get movement on certain of those techniques. And, you know, last weekend we couldn't get any movement. Zach Bailey didn't play particularly well and couldn't get any movement on an inside shade. And when things are stagnant on the inside zone play, that's when you kind of get in a rut, so to speak. And there was no inside movement on the inside shade, and it was just clogging up everything from a backside standpoint. It's just like you know, anything in life. You can't get movement on that front side player, it clogs everything up behind it.
Right.
So everything was getting log jammed behind it. If you know, and that's not technical, so to speak.
No, but that's
you know,
right.
but that's
That's
exactly
what's
what was.
gotta happen.
Yeah, that's what's got to happen.
You got to move that three technique.
Or that heavy front side shade has got to be stretched and he's got to be moved.
Right.
He's got to be moved. Any stationary object in any type of zone scheme, it prevents it from happening. And we couldn't get any movement. He struggled on the movement all day long, and we couldn't benefit from it. You know, Dave had a couple of nice runs there, but for the most part, we've got to get some work at it. You know, Allen's back. Hopefully that thing's going to be taken care of this week. Zach's a little dinged up, but we're going to get him in there at some guard positions and see if we can get some movement this week.
Allen will start.
Yes, Allen and I will start this week.
Thanks, Shawn.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
think that was as poorly as y'all blocked that this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, you know, inside zones, it's a little bit different. One of the things you've got to do, you've got to kind of run it over and over. In the games that we're really successful with it, you've got to continue and stick with it, even though it's a 1 or 2 yard gain. You've got to stick with it. You know, that's the name of the game. It's a 2 yard run or a 1 yard run in the first quarter, so 3 or 4 yard run in the second, and just builds off of it. But without the blocking up front, you know, you can't get anything out of it. And we had a tough time blocking those guys. They were a good football team. I'm not taking anything away from Missouri. They're well coached. They're always good, and that's why they're #1 defense in the conference. And that says a lot being in the SEC.
Did Zach practice today?
Sir?
Did Zach practice today?
Zach was limited in practice. He got in our team situations, ran through some reps, and did everything he could do.
With Allen back at center, do you look at him potentially playing one of the guard spots?
Oh, yeah, we're going to get him. You know, now that he's in the rotation, and that was kind of our theory behind it all year. We never thought or anticipated he'd have to play the center position. We were trying to work him in there, played him a little tight end, and we are going to get him a little guard work and bring him along a little bit slower than what we had to. But I think now we can put him in there and rotate him all the way around. You know, keep in mind that he's healthy.
If he is healthy for Saturday, would you look at starting him or getting him playing?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to play. There's no doubt. You know, Zach brings a lot of good tools to us. He brings mobility and strength. But, you know, keep that in mind. He's still a freshman. But I think we're going to definitely see him in the rotation and going forward, whether it's right guard, left guard, or center. He's a force to be reckoned. He's only going to become a better football player the more reps in game-type situations he plays.
It's hamstring?
Hamstring, yeah, had a little bit of hamstring. Yeah, it was one of those interceptions. He went and tried to chase it down and, you know, tweaked it a little bit.
How has Mike Matulis played this year overall?
You know, about like the O-line. You know, we've been average up until the point we had a very poor game this past week. But he's been about average, you know. And he's done his job. There hadn't been any huge missed assignments from him. He's been steady in the middle there. No glaring mistakes. But you know, I expect him to come on a little bit more and get better as the season progresses. And you know, I told him in meetings, I said, Mike, it's time for you to doggone play. You know, let loose. You know, turn your knees loose, turn your injuries away, and let's go out and play.
Did Missouri have y'all's plays?
Hey, who knows? I mean, that's a great question. You know, when you go back and reflect on film, kind of some of the defenses they ran, I kind of say, well, hey, why would you set up like this? You know, so you know, keep in mind everybody in the SEC tries to get signals and plays and things of that nature. So you know, who knows? But keep in mind, if you block your correct assignments and block them well, you should be able to manufacture some yards and go from there. But you know, let's say they may have got a few.
You were talking about kind of the learning, getting a feel for those kind of zone runs.
Yes, sir.
It seems like some of those backside seams have been a little hard to come by, or backs have had a little trouble there. What do you kind of attribute that to?
Well, you got to have good backside tight end play. You know, the backside cut of the weak side zone is all reflected on how well the backside tight end primarily blocks it to a certain degree. Now, when you get in the zone read, you have to read and make the correct read off of it, whether he squeezes or comes. But, you know, when we typically line up in there and have our two tight end sets, we're wanting for some push off the backside to get some movement. And we struggled on that a little bit, as we have on the front side of the zone, moving a shade with Zach, as we did last week. So we got to get some push on the weak side. We got to get some better effort there.
Against a team that obviously plays so much nickel, one might imagine that a two tight ends, that would be sort of a solution there, but I'm guessing LSU doesn't make it near that easy.
You know, LSU can make up for a lot of things with the great athletes they recruit. They're very well coached. They're going to be prepared as always. Two tight ends, you know, possibly could give them a little bit of problem, but you got to have two tight ends ready to go out there and play at a high level. You can't just stick a guy out there and a guy out there and expect it all to work just based on formations. You got to stick guys in there that can go out there and get the job done.
Thanks, Coach.
You got power at your house?
Yes, I do have power. Do have power. It came back on. It went back off this morning. Came back on. So we're all set and pleased with that.
Okay.